You can sneeze. Oh no. You can make a sneeze face and not sneeze. Cool, 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 cool. Test, test. Check, check. Test, test. Check, check. What is up, guys? Welcome back. Today, as promised, I'm going to be doing a tutorial on that red-ish tonal French girl vibes, although we all know I'm not very good at French girl vibes, so I'm calling this a sexy gondolier look. Whatever floats your gondola, you know? Basically, the things that I'm going to be focusing this around are the new reformulated Bite Beauty lipstick in Chai and its sister compact here. I mean, not by design, but in my world. The Patrick Ta blush in Oshi's Different. So the way that I talked about this in, was it just a get ready with me video? I think so. When I was talking about these being introduced was just that if you don't wear red well, because I don't wear red well, these kind of mimic red. When you put them together optically, the eye reads that same really lovely, bold lip, flushed cheeks, red energy. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. It's gonna be really, really low coverage. I don't even think I'm gonna use a foundation. So this will be like a no foundation, sexy gondolier tutorial. Welcome to my channel. Let's go ahead and jump in. Oh, sometimes I just do whatever I want. So as promised, yeah, no foundation. I am wearing the Zinc Screen from Supergoop, and it has like a slight pink tint to it that on my skin tone acts as a really nice, almost completely unnoticeable blurring color cancellation effect, and I appreciate that. But I am going to start with the Brilliant Face Brightener from Thrive, just because it's a really nice, refreshing drink of water with a touch of illumination for a primer. It's like, you know, instant skin prep when it's been a minute since you skin prepped. Look at that though. Oh, and it's so nice and cool on my skin. Oh, it feels so good. I don't know what's in this stuff, but it feels so good. And then for concealer, I think I'm just gonna go with the Tarte Hydro Sealer. I've been liking this a lot lately just because my skin is so pigmented. I find that just a little bit of extra brightening does a lot of heavy lifting for me, so I don't have to wear as much makeup. It's kind of funny, like you would think that a concealer would need to be darker so that it didn't stand in as much contrast, since I am kind of like summery looking right now, but I feel like because this is just kind of medium coverage, it does a little more work being a lighter shade than the rest of my concealers. And then I'm just going to blendy that with my little Rare Beauty brush here. So yeah, I've been doing these kind of low coverage, embrace the pigmentation, embrace the freckles kind of looks. There are different styles of makeup that you feel like kind of go with different vibes, different, you know, times of the year. I feel like I ebb and flow on whether I'm experimental and whether I just want something to be really, really easy and reliable. And this is a very easy and reliable makeup look. You know, last week we did blue eyeshadow. I try and mix it up, but look at that concealer. It's so nice. You guys know, ain't nobody at Tarte paying me to say anything. It's crickets over there. I mean, you know, we don't hear much from Tarte to begin with, but certainly not on my channel, but that's just a really great formula. It really is. It blends really well, and they do actually have the mini of the concealer in every single shade. The foundation, no. And the foundation is a lot more temperamental, but I'm a big fan of the concealer. The Hydro Sealer. And you can see, yes, my face is considerably lighter than the rest of my body, and that is because not only did I do a fake tan on Monday, but they sent my kid home from daycare with a fever. He fell asleep on the floor in the middle of the day. Okay. And so I didn't get to wash the tan off until like Tuesday, like mid-morning. And so, I mean, she cooked on there. It's like a pretty big difference. So that's what we're gonna compensate for next. I'm gonna go in with my Patrick Ta Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo in She's Statuesque, because it is the best bronzer shade for me that I have found. I love it so much. There are some really great bronzers in my collection that I love, but this is the one that I can most reliably just pound it on. Going in with this BK Beauty brush, I like these a lot. They're really, really soft. Again, these were sent to me recently. I got the whole collection and they're really nice. But see, look, we're already kind of catching up to my neck. Is that wishful thinking? We're trying. It's so subjective because, and I should say bronzer in general is so subjective. But if you've found through watching my channel for any long period of time, like, oh, we have the same undertones, Khaki's makeup always works for me kind of thing, this is the best bronzer shade I've ever found. Like, it just really does a good job of mimicking what my skin might look like if I ever got a real, actual healthy tan on my face. And we're all thinking it, right? But Glossier has come out with bronzers finally. I know, I never thought that we would actually utter those words, but they're here. They live. I don't get PR from them. I'm not sure anybody gets PR from them. I'm not really sure, but I do get a credit from them every month, and I used that towards buying all of them because I am wising up to the fact that just because a bronzer is light in shade does not necessarily mean that it's going to match my undertones, and I'm more likely to be able to work with a formula that might be too pigmented if the undertones match me versus something that's just less pigmented but the undertones are wrong. Like, who cares, you know? So I just ordered all of them. And the deepest one has like a red undertone to it, and I was like, regardless, that is going to be a beautiful deep blush, I think. So I'm really, really excited to share that formula with you guys, you know, once I get my head around it and everything. And I will try and get a review for that as soon as humanly possible because I know that, I don't know, you guys are probably as excited as I am about it. Okay, so I'm going to contour here, and I also want to touch on the fact that M Cosmetics, just sort of out of nowhere, maybe it's not out of nowhere, but I didn't see anything teasing it, they have released cream blushes, okay? And only one person sent them to me and was like, Khaki, oh my gosh, maybe people tagged me in it, but only one person actually messaged them to me. And I was shocked. I was like, she's like, I'm sure everyone's saying this to you. And I was like, actually, no one has, and that feels really weird to me. But I'm really, really excited about them. And after my last video, I was not intending to be passive aggressive. You guys know I was, you know, highly, highly forgiving about it. I was like, yeah, you know, I moved and it seems like something got lost in the shuffle and I don't get PR from them anymore. And so I had bought like the blush and the new Venetian Rose eyeshadow palette. I was like, not mad at all. I'm happy to give, you know, I'm happy to give makeup companies my money if I really like their stuff and I loved those products. And M Cosmetics reached out to me after that because I guess, you know, they caught wind of it and they were like, oh my gosh, you know, we're so sorry, can we get your updated address? And so I assume that I will actually be getting the new releases as PR, which is super, super exciting. That is like one of my favorite PR lists that I'm on. She just puts out hero products. So very excited about that. Hey, look at that. I'm kind of getting there in terms of looking a little bit more bronzed on my face. Nice, excellent. Okay. The last time that I used Oh She's Different, I used it as like this very subtle, like let's dip a toe in kind of thing. But we're actually just gonna go straight for it right now. And I've got this like big flat brush. This is the 102 from BK Beauty. And I am just going to go right in. These are the more pigmented of the Patrick Ta formulas of blushes. His other ones are a lot sheerer, and I do have some of those sitting in front of me. I will use those to blend, but this is something that the more I put on, the happier I am. So I'm going to try and concentrate mainly on this shade today. And the cream. The cream is beautiful too. All of his creams, I shouldn't say all of them, but the way that they seem is that they're mostly almost translucent. They don't have a lot of like opacity to them. And so they add a lot of texture and a nice watercolory wash, and they work on every skin tone. And it's funny because, you know, you look at a color like this and maybe the unblush obsessed eye might look at that and go, that's probably not for you, Khaki. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I think that it is like one of the best, most believable, again, the undertones. The undertones are what are giving me this like believable life force through my cheeks, not so much the fact that that is a saturated shade or that it's a deep shade. It's that like, the undertones match what my skin would naturally do, and we can work with that. So there's that. The next thing, I'm actually gonna go, yes. So this is She's Passionate, and then I also have, I want She's Adorable. But I'm adorable. You know what? Maybe I'm not adorable today. Okay, so I have here She's Passionate. I don't think I got to use this one in the last video either. So I'm just going to use that to sort of feather the edges. You see, do you see that? I'm not sure. I'm going to use a different brush though, because that one's pretty big. I mean, this one's still really big, but it's actually like more dispersed. This is my Eco Tools Tapered Powder, one of my faves. Needs to be cleaned, but that's okay. Again, keeping the local color, that really nice, rich burgundy. Okay, there's that. I think I'm going to now go in with the cream that I love. I'm using that kind of back of the cheeks, but also down. The main thing that this does, besides add pigment, is just change the texture on the skin and make it look more like skin. You can just tippy tap that on. You can use a brush, you can use a sponge, you can sneeze, you can make a sneeze face and not sneeze. Cool. Yeah, this blush might be my favorite. Full stop. It's just so exciting. It's just a really exciting blush. It'd make me feel pretty. Okay, next on the tutorial that I hope you're, following step by step along with me at home, using this, silly, fluffy little synthetic brush from Dear Dahlia, dipping that in. I'm still thinking about sneezing. Ugh. Dipping that into my Salt New York beige highlight and applying that right between my blush and my concealer underneath my eyes. And it just changes the way that the light hits it so that you don't have to add more coverage or fuss with a bunch of different combos there. Like, keep reapplying your concealer, keep reapplying your blush and kind of getting it muddy or anything. And it just reflects the light in a really nice way that blurs that area and, makes your eyes believe what they're seeing, basically. It's like, oh yeah, no, that's blended, it's fine. Nothing to see here. I'm actually adding a little bit of that to my blemishes up here. Hello, second day of my period. When I was in art school, my main professor, a woman named Carrie Ann Bada, she is wonderful. She was in a time crunch trying to finish a bunch of paintings for a show that she was doing, and she had one painting left. And she said, there's no way that I'm gonna get this done. I mean, we were close. We were in a individual study kind of thing where we met every week and kind of bounced ideas off of each other and stuff. So she was like, I don't really know how to solve for the fact that I'm not going to be able to finish this in the most specific of detail, style. And she does this really, really amazing, very, very detailed pop surrealism. I think it's called pop surrealism. I think that that's her style. She was like, I think that basically I just have to take a step back and blur my eyes and peel back a layer of detail on the entire painting. And that was what ended up working. It was just it wasn't so much that it looked unfinished, because it didn't. It was just the fact that she had decided to make everything look relatively similar instead of having, calling attention to the fact that some of the painting looked unfinished because some of it was in really, really, really sharp detail. And so I feel like that's kind of what you do with your face, right? It's not so much about making things perfect. It's just about kind of putting them all in the same level of detail. And I just prefer kind of going a little squinty-eyed and blurry about it. Really pulled that reference around, didn't I? The only thing I haven't really decided what to do about is my eyes. Okay, so In my Makeup by Mario Cream and Powder Blushes video, someone said, I wish you would have shown us how you did the eye. And I used his blush for that and just, you know, a couple other things. So I'm gonna kind of combine those things so that this is useful for you guys. And I'm going to use some of the Patrick Ta powder blushes and the other things that I used for that look. It was really, really subtle and straightforward. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is just grab, you know, an eyeshadow brush. Any eyeshadow brush will do. This one's great. I like this one a lot. This is the BK 201 eyeshadow brush, and I'm just gonna take my same one here, and I'm just going outer third, right there, and the same thing on the lid. You know, it's like kind of going towards the, maybe towards the middle of the lid. But I'm not really going above the crease. And yes, you can absolutely do this with just the, you know, blushes and bronzers and stuff that you have on the rest of your face. And then I'm also going to use the other blush that I used, She's Passionate, and just use that to kind of feather everything out. The way that I typically do these kinds of things is to sort of create almost like an upward wing with the eyeshadow right there. Because that's just how my face is shaped, right? You know, it kind of like sinks in right there and it sort of naturally makes a curve. So I'm just kind of going with that. And yeah, if you think about it, the best way to believably put a contour on your eye is to use the same color that you used on your face. And I'm using the bronzer because the contour is a cream in this case, and I don't really want to just like throw cream into this eye look, but it works just the same. More or less, right? And I'm putting so little on because I just don't want the eyes to steal the show. And then I have, I have so many of these. Okay, the Brilliant Eye Brightener in Estrella was basically what I used in that one, and that's what I'm putting on the inner third here. I actually think what I used in that one was the new mauve one in the Instagram photo. And it's really pretty, but it doesn't have a whole lot of pigment to it. And so I ended up kind of covering it up with everything anyway, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And that's like essentially, I mean, yes, we'll blend it a little bit more, but like that's essentially what I did in that video, the Makeup by Mario video, but it was with a coral blush, and so it looked a little bit higher contrast than that, but I mean, that's really the essence of it. And then a little bit of like eyeliner and mascara, which I will do now. Okay. Now, I fully expect once I get this lipstick on to want to put more blush on, so just bear with me. So this is the shade Chai. It is right there with the colors that I already have on my face. I think that that's what makes this so low effort looking. I didn't notice before, but they smell like vanilla. You guys know how I feel about that. And I'm going to take my finger and just work that out because that's a lot of pigment. A lot of people, when I was doing the Violette video, they were like, you're supposed to do like a smudgy red lip. It's a really difficult formula to do a smudgy red lip with. This is super easy. It's very even on the pigment. It's very, very silicone-y, but it's creamy while being matte, which is awesome. You can always take your concealer brush, just kind of shape it up. Don't obsess, but that's Chai. Nope, not gonna get on my teeth. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I feel like, well, okay, I feel like I need gold on my eyes. Why am I like this? Of course, I just had this handy. This is the Lawless Bio Glitter in, what's it called? Champagne Dreams. Just a nice subtle sparkle. You can build this up to like, you know, holiday level glam if you want, but I'm just going for a little bit of gold. Sometimes I just gotta follow my instincts, you know? And then we will put on just a touch more blush because Oh She's Different is the star of the show today. Oh, my husband having very important meeting. So important. Sorry, we share a wall, so it's like I can always hear his meetings. And he can always hear me talking about makeup. Business, business, business. Business, 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 business. All right, I'm gonna move you guys out and we will just kind of chat last and final thoughts on this look. My camera died. I don't know how much of that I got, but this is the final vibe. I just sprayed myself with the SOS spray. That's all you really missed. And I just wanted to chit chat, you know, final thoughts on this face of makeup. Everything is relative in this because, you know, let me go ahead and actually like show you guys a swatch of something red, true red, and you'll see why this isn't actually true red, but how on me it reads true red. It's kind of interesting. Okay, I have here Violette Amour Fou, which is supposed to be the most, you know, iconic French girl red shade. And you can see, if that's red, this is very much not red. We'll go ahead and swatch Chai next to it. Look at that. That's crazy, right? Like those are two very, very different colors, but on my skin, this whole thing reads kind of bricky burgundy. And that just speaks so eloquently, I guess, to the fact that color theory is relative. It has to do with the skin you're putting it on and what you're pairing it with, and mainly just how it quote unquote pulls on you. That's a word we use in like fine art, talking about things inside of lighting, you know, it's like, oh, what color is it pulling? It's a big word that we use talking about hair color. What color is it gonna pull on this person? Because there are so many variables that determine how a color is going to pull on someone's hair. Their natural hair color, their natural undertones, what they've done to their hair prior to that, etc. And when it comes to makeup, you know, this is the thing that I am probably the least versed at when it comes to color theory, applying it to makeup. But I'm learning these things every single day, that it's like true red reads really unflattering on my skin. It just steals the show. But if I can find something that has that much freaking lavender in it, you put it on my skin, and when it's living in an ecosystem of all of those kinds of same tones, it reads more or less like French girl burgundy red, or since I am Italian, I'm just calling it sexy Gondolier. Plus it makes my teeth look really white. Not that they're not white. I paid for white porcelain to be installed in my mouth. They better be white, but still, it's nice. I think it would really complement many teeth tones, if you will, because it's just so nice and cool toned. So anyway, guys, that's the vibe today. I wanted to share a face of makeup that just makes me feel real gosh darn pretty. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you guys did. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.